Hello, everybody. Welcome to Eddie J on Crypto. Hope you're having a great day. Hope the weekend was awesome. My weekend was pretty good. Still nursing bad shoulder. Pretty funny story. Walked out the front door, slipped, fell. You can figure out the rest. So it's funny. Um, that happened earlier last week, and it's been healing ever since. I'm probably, feeling a little bit better. I don't have full motion yet, but getting there. But there is a lot going on. We've got Bitcoin, the Consumer Price Index. We've got the US Treasury making news. Thailand definitely making news based on a report that I had given earlier this week. Shiba Inu. Um, and we're going to get into a couple of things like how to spot bullshit. So, yesterday I made a comment that I will never ask you to send me Bitcoin unless you're buying one of my services or something like that. I'm not going to ask you to send me blindly, send me, crypto. That's just not going to happen. I'm not going to recommend a broker, right? I said that. Um, I'm adamant about this because one of my friends, I was speaking with one of my friends today, and she said that, somebody told her about this broker. And this broker has a website. Not going to mention names or anything like that, but they have a website. And I went and I looked at the website and I was like, how much money did you give them? And she said, not much. And it was only a few $100s. So I wasn't totally stressed out. I think she can afford it, but still, it's still a few $100s. And to, an average person, a few $100s is, a significant amount of money. Um, so she told me what happened. I looked at the website and I was like, I look at the website and the first thing I see is the logo is blurry. Okay, me owning a web hosting company and marketing company, I am looking at your design to see, did you go into detail about your website? Because there's a difference between having detail on your website, not having detail on your website. If you don't have detail, that means you either didn't have the money or didn't care. So those are things that I'm looking at. Um, that was one thing. The other thing was if you want me to send you money as an investment in something, right? And you're going to take my money and you're going to invest it and you're going to do stuff with it. Well, you should be licensed or registered. So that was another huge ass red flag, right? I went to the website. There's no FINRA listing, no licensing. And here is another huge ass red flag. And this was going to be a conversation I was going to end on this conversation, but I'm bringing it up to the top because I'm so damn annoyed. Um, when you're dealing with a brokerage firm, you should see people. You should see real people. I should see a picture, a name, their qualifications, their licensing or registration or whatever it is. And then I should see the same about the entity or the company itself. So, are you listed with FINRA? Or do you have your series, whatever license? Just, what's going on with this business? And I saw nothing. I saw nothing. I saw a page, I saw an about page that had a great big fat graphic with, a Bitcoin logo in the middle. And then I control F'd. That means search, find. And I saw nothing about Bitcoin. Wait, what? You have a logo on your page and you don't have any mention of that at all? Yeah, done. I was done when I saw the blurry logo, and then when I didn't see people, and then I saw no licensing, I saw no mention of FINRA. Yeah, no, I'm not sending you any kind of money. And they're slick, right? They think that they can get around and skirt those laws because they didn't ask you for money; they asked you for crypto, right? So it's a very loose thing right now that they might be able to skate around, but yeah, no. A real brokerage firm is licensed, they do things, they've got to jump through hoops to maintain that license. There are a whole bunch of things that have to happen. I'm not saying that there are not shady brokerage firms out there. I'm saying, but at least even those shady brokerage firms met the minimum level of requirement. These guys, no mention of a person, no mention of anything. Don't you ever send money to a business that says they're going to invest your money and send you money every week and they're not licensed. and they have some kind of hole in the wall address. These guys are located at 31 West 34th Street in Manhattan, New York. So I looked at the building and I'm like, yeah, you're in a crap goddamn building with, Zara downstairs and a couple of other retail stores. And I just sat there and I was like, yeah, nah. So I told her, yeah, my research shows don't ever do business with this company. I did some internet research and everybody's saying it's a scam. Don't trust this company. Don't do it. I said, so you put a couple of hundred in, hopefully, you're good. That few $100s is not going to be missed other than, well, you won't be having any, outside dinner for a little while. No biggie. Cool. But I wanted to bring that up to everybody that, you know, unless you're paying me for services or paying my companies for services or products that we're actually selling things, like we just, launched our NFTs. We'll get into that later. Um, I'm not going to be asking you to send me anything. I'm not. Like I said, I started this video series to help my kids and help my family understand what crypto is all about and what my mindset is when I'm looking at crypto. So, enough of the soapbox stuff. Let's get to it. So today, I was looking and I've been watching all day. I've been watching all weekend because I figured this weekend is going to be the weekend when Bitcoin was going to hit and surpass that $42,000 resistance level. And guess what? A little while ago today, it actually did. Um, the big deal about that is that was a set resistance level. Since then, some analysts are saying, well, the real resistance level is at 42,986 or something like that. And I'm like, it busted through 42. So it keeps creeping up. And there are things that are going on there. So I'm still watching, but I think there are good headwinds ahead. Something that is a macro event that could affect the cryptocurrency space is the United States is expecting to have their numbers come out for the consumer price index. And depending how those numbers are, it could have a follow-on effect to crypto. Excuse me for a second. I actually want to take a drink. There's a young lady, Kathy, friend of mine on Facebook, said she has rosemary for my vanilla greyhound, which is what I'm drinking right now, and I don't have vanilla. So if you see, I'm sorry, vanilla sprig. I mean, rosemary sprig. She's got rosemary and I don't, and she was rubbing it in. So here's to you, Kathy. Thanks a lot for, not sharing the rosemary. Anyway, that consumer price index is a macro event that can actually, it'll definitely, have some kind of effect on the market. And it could have a follow-on effect on the cryptocurrency space. Maybe. We'll see. Something else that is a macro kind of event is the US Treasury Department is saying that NFTs can be used as a money laundering technique. And I sat there and I was like, yeah, so can banks. That's been proven, right? There are a lot of businesses out there where you can move money and launder money. Instead of coming out with, broad stroke statements, I would appreciate if the Treasury and just everybody would just say, you know what, here are the rules and regulations on crypto. Done. Be done with it. Stop spreading FUD. Stop making everybody wonder, like, what are you going to do and how are you going to do it? No, just cut that crap out and just say, hey, look, listen, we're gonna look at crypto as, capital. Because if you're charging capital gains tax, well, then okay, right? But stop with the whole, well, it could be used as. There are a lot of technologies and there are a lot of practices that can be used to launder money. How about you sit down with some people that actually understand cryptocurrency and NFTs and that whole space and figure out what you think the regulation should be instead of having people that don't necessarily understand the whole thing and, just coming and yapping. We don't need yap. We need decisions, we need regulation, and that would make everything work well, right? Because first off, cryptocurrency isn't going anywhere. If you look at gold, Bitcoin is a better investment than gold. Why? Because it's done better than gold for the past 10 years. Solid. Solid. So if you've got regulation around certain things, how about you just carry those regulations over? Or again, look at it with people that actually know what they're talking about and do that. That would be helpful. So that's a macro event. That piece of news, as it filters through and gets to mainstream, that could have an effect on the cryptocurrency space or not, right? Because it it said a lot about nothing, right? It doesn't really say anything. There are no new rules coming out about it. It's just another way to try to spread, fear, that, fear and, uncertainty about the space. It's not going to matter. Whatever. Just get to the guidelines, right? Get to the regulation. Something else that I reported on last week was Thailand was going to implement a 15% tax on cryptocurrencies. They've since scrapped that idea and said, you know what? We're going to treat cryptocurrencies as capital gains, and we'll go down that road because it's a lot better. In my opinion, I think that's a really smart move. It also further legitimizes cryptocurrency, and it says that, well, if we treat it with crypto, with capital as capital gains, then there's a set path and pattern that they can follow, and it smooths out the path for cryptocurrency, and I think that is awesome, right? I think that's an awesome idea. And I think going forward, it's going to, small countries, large countries that have a good, strong fiat and have a good, strong idea about what they want to do. I think eventually everybody's going to come around to, hey, let's just properly, for our country, let's properly regulate cryptocurrency, because if you don't and you keep spreading, fear and uncertainty, what's going to wind up happening is that you're going to lose the opportunity to regulate cryptocurrency. That would be a much larger problem. So how about you have a direct, conversation about it and regulate it appropriately, fairly, and governments around the world will make money. I mean, Miami's brought in, I think, $5.2 million on their Miami coin. Take a step back and let's look at that. So, there's an example. I think New York City might wind up doing the same thing. So we'll see in the future, but I think, things are starting to kind of smooth out. Dust is starting to settle. There's still a lot of dust, but in certain places, dust is starting to, settle out. Shiba Inu just rocking and rolling today. You know what? Let's actually go look at some numbers. Let me bring up a screen so you can actually see what I'm talking about. First, let's take a look at the fear and greed index. It was at 37 earlier today, from yesterday to today, and now it's at 45. Wow. So as you can see, you're looking at the fear and greed index, and this is when we started hitting some highs right here. It's another point where we started hitting some highs. This is another point where you start hitting some highs. Right now, are we on track to start hitting some highs? I think that's possible. When you think about, in this little set right here, there was an 11. The fear and greed index was at 11. That's extremely fearful. So now you're at 45 and you're kind of like, oh, there's something we could do. So I'm expecting, with Bitcoin hitting 42,000, bursting through 42,000. It has since come back below 42,000. Let's just take a look. Yeah, so it's at 41,793. So it went above 42,000. It came back down a little bit, but it's still at 41,790. So that's still a very big deal. So it touched it, came back. I wonder if it blasts through the second time, right? So there are things that are going on that could actually make that work. So there's your fear and greed index. And when you look at the numbers out of just across the board, you're looking at a lot of green across. You're looking at Avalanche over 18%. You're looking at Lunaterra up over 21%. Same thing for Polkadot. Solana up over 24%. Cardano 11%. So you've got Shiba Inu that's been up 35% and 22.98, basically 23% today. So you're looking at major green, that's around here, right? And the reason why Shiba Inu popped up is because they cut a deal with Wellies. Wellies is a small restaurant chain, and they're willing to change their whole look and feel to be a Shiba Inu look and feel, which means that they've got a real world project that's going to go down. And they announced this a couple of days ago. So they've got a real world project that's going to go down. And obviously, they'd be accepting Shiba Inu. So these are things where Shiba Inu is saying, hey, look, listen, you want to do microtransactions like that? You can do it with Shiba. And we've got more coming. So that led to a beautiful pop. And I think you're going to see more. Axie Infinity, AXS, up almost 15%. So you're looking at a lot of green around the board that you can say, okay, there's money to be made. So those are things that I'm looking at. Um, I do have a question for you before we sign off, and my question is, what are your thoughts on like how do you think a social platform would work in a Web3 space? You know, whether it's proof of identity or something like that. Like, what is that? So I'm just wondering, what your thoughts are. So if you don't mind, it would be really big help if you would hit the likes, right? Subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to get notified about when I'm dropping new videos like the one tonight. Something else that I would like to touch on are NFTs. A lot of people don't understand NFTs and what they are, and they just think that, oh, it's just digital art that's being sold and blah, blah, blah. In a way, yes, that is one of the use cases that you can use an NFT for. Well, there are a couple of restaurants, one that's already in business and another one that's going to be opening up in June. And they're both going to require you to pay your bill with crypto. One of them is a private, is a high society club, not high society, but basically a club where you get to enjoy certain things. Like it's basically just a private club. Tons of private clubs out there, but you're gonna have to hold an NFT to get in, proof of identity. One, two, everything that you pay for is with crypto. So imagine you actually have things that are hitting the mainstream where, hey, not only are we accepting crypto, but we're making crypto mandatory. There will be no fiat. Thank you very much. Wow. So that's a big deal. And that's right here in New York City. So that's something to think about. Good news, very good news. We have literally just dropped our own. Let me just flip back over here so I can bring up my screen. We have literally just dropped our own NFTs, which I think is freaking awesome. It'll enable you to actually purchase a piece of New York nostalgia, real New York City nostalgia. So let me bring this up for you so you can see what it looks like. And here it is. New York City original graffiti by Sabar 7. Really old, not old. I mean, he's not old. He's not like old and crusty, but he's an old school graffiti artist that used to throw things up um, on trains, on walls, and everything else. And now he runs a full blown business all about art. And one of the art forms is graffiti, meaning t-shirts, hats, canvases, murals. He did a mural for the firehouse, a firehouse in New York City. He's been flown out all over the world. I think his last trip was to Norway, where he blew out something. We took some pictures there, and we'll be offering those as NFTs. But all of this New York City nostalgia, old school graffiti, guess what? Doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't. Like when you walk down the street, everything's nice and pristine and clean and whatever, but you don't see this anymore. So we've actually got some real deal New York City nostalgic graffiti, and the quality of this graffiti is no joke. So we're selling it right now on OpenSea. So just do a search for Sabar 7. It's the blue final. And we don't have the prices set high. This is a limited edition, meaning we only minted 50. There will be no more of this particular one that's minted again. That's it. right? And we've got more that we're going to be dropping in the future. So that's a big deal. So just if you're into graffiti or you know somebody that's into graffiti, we know that it's big with, private events and parties and things like that. I mean, he does a lot of private events at bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. We know that there's a high request for graffiti. Here's a way that you can give the gift that could possibly keep on giving. So check it out. New York City Original Graffiti, Sabar 7 Blue Final. Hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to hit the likes, subscribe, and get the notifications about when I drop a new video. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.